Good morning, everyone. It's 11 o'clock in the West Coast and 11, 12, 1, 2 on the East Coast and some other times in between. But good morning and good afternoon and welcome. I'm so glad to see you all. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Kim. Good to see you here. I'm guessing people will sign on in. Let me know you're here so I can say good morning or good afternoon to you. Perhaps it's lunchtime where you are. I hope you're having some food. Hey, Xander. Having a cup of coffee. Of course, I've got my coffee. And thank you once again for being here. I really appreciate that. I'm excited to spend another day with you on Facebook Live for our half hour together. Sort of a settling thing for me. I have to say, I look forward to this half hour. Hi, Nuri. Nuri's got baby. It's a very settling thing for me to connect with the Starr King community. I said when we were doing the all-school meeting a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, time slows down under these circumstances. And I remarked that I didn't know how much I missed seeing people until I saw people. And so it's been lovely to get a chance to see your little comments. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Pam. And just say hi to people. Hi, Rachel. It's a lovely thing. First, let me just say, if you haven't been here before, for this week, I'm meeting people online here and talking for about a half hour every day, and at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And I just want you to know, and I want to repeat, that the most important thing for us right now is the health and the safety and the well-being of Starr King students and faculty and staff in our larger community. So we have done everything that we can do to keep people safe. And I'm happy to say that thanks to the forward thinking and information gathering of our COVID-19 task force, which consists of Chris Shalene, our Dean of Students, and Gabrielle Latini, our Dean of Faculty. We have put links and other information on the Starr King webpage. So just go to sksm.edu for the information that we've got and links to information that is constantly being updated. We have links to the World Health Organization. And if we don't yet have the link up for that, we'll have, if we don't have the links up for the Johns Hopkins map, for people like me who like to see what's happening out there, we'll make sure that we get that up. Good morning, Sophia. Good to see you. So please know that amid all the other information that's out there, we try to condense things that you could go to right away and just look at. So please feel free to do that. As you probably know, the school will be doing its work and educating to counter oppression online for the rest of the semester. It is the thing that makes the most sense, even in light of the lockdown, but even before the lockdown in California. And it's actually a shelter-in-place order, but it feels like a lockdown to a lot of us. We knew that it made sense because we could do this work, because we have the facility to do our work and to take care of our people online. We decided to do that. The decision that we had to reach this week, which was the hard one, which was to cancel commencement for 2020. And that was a hard decision to make, but it was the only sensible one to make in light of everything that's going on. It's especially a hard one to make because of the deep sacrifice and work and study that our students have been going into for several years. We had hoped that this would be a time of great celebration. And it will be. It just won't look like it usually looks. Our executive team, particularly Chris and Gabriella, are already thinking about ways in which we can honor the work and the sacrifice, not only of students, but of those who love them, because not just an individual goes to seminary. Any one of us who has gone through this experience know that our family and the people who are dear to us go through this as well. And so commencement is usually a time where we get to thank all of those people and appreciate them. And we will find a different way to do that in the coming months. So please stay tuned. We're at work on that. And please know that my heart is with all of you all who are graduating, all of you who are receiving certificate programs. You're at the school, and we will find a way to honor you. Hi, Susanna. Thank you for being here from North Carolina. It's hard, but we will get through that. And I'm once again reminded of how grateful I am that we really are a 21st century seminary, that we really do have the capacity to do a great many things with the help of technology and with the help of skilled faculty and staff who walk us through the parts we don't necessarily understand. Even those of us who use Zoom a lot, for example, are learning all kinds of things that we didn't know. For example, I personally didn't know you could have breakout rooms in Zoom. So when I get a minute, I'm going to go on the Zoom tutorials and learn how to do that. There's a lot that we're learning about even the technology that we already use. And it's important for us to do that. We're a constantly learning community. So that's kind of fun. And I think that we'll continue to learn. I also want to just take a minute to say it's Wednesday, it's kind of hump day, and I was a little surprised at the discomfort I was feeling yesterday. I think that I had oversaturated myself. The disaster maven in me, the person who is trained to do that kind of work, was really immersed in a lot of information about the virus and its transmission and all these things. And I think it got too much for me yesterday. I was unaccountably sad. Well, at least it seemed unaccountable at the time. And thank goodness for having a partner who's willing to reflect with me and happened to point out that I was consuming a nonstop diet of press conferences from varying states. And I had to give it a rest. I did. I had to watch people build tiny houses and read a few trashy romance chapters and a couple of things that usually help, get settled. And I did something that I don't usually do. I went to bed and slept 8 hours. And that made a big difference. So I want to encourage you, in whatever ways you feel good, lean into those things that make you feel good. I don't want to suggest that you should pretend this isn't happening. There's no way. We won't know that it's happening. We're living it. But let's not make my oversaturation be a habit, either for myself or for you. Think about ways you can give yourself some ease and ways of leaning into what's good. I'm thinking about cooking today. Anybody who knows me know that's an epic event. That is not necessarily my skill set. I am not like my husband, who finds it relaxing. I can hear people laughing right now. Folks who know me are laughing at this very moment. But I feel like I want to try some new things when I get a break. So, once I get off the many Zoom calls I have today, I'm going to see if there isn't anything I want to make. I don't think that I'm going to be like several of my friends who are out baking bread and looking for flour, which, by the way, is in short supply. For bakers, King Arthur flour is kind of the gold standard. and it's hard to find. I'm committed to getting some for people who, if I happen to see it, so that they can have some of their own. So I think this might be a moment in our downtime, though there's not as much downtime as you might expect, because there are many Zoom calls to be had when you're sheltering in place. But I still might want to do that. And I want to encourage you all to find something that you might want to do too. I just want to revisit a couple things about our forthcoming move. We haven't talked about that much because there have been so many other things to talk about, but we are moving to Mills College in Oakland. We will be co-locating there in time for the August formulation that will take. And it is too early to know that. For now, we are going under the assumption that all of Starr King will co-locate to Oakland, California, and we will be vacating the building, which has been sold. It has been sold to a developer of student housing, so that we are greatly satisfied that the people who bought our building are not going to be, building luxury housing with it. That was a concern. And in fact, that's not something that we have to worry about. There was also a secret worry on the part of some people that the building was going to get torn down. And when I spoke to one of the principals, he looked aghast. He said, "Oh no, we love the building," which did our hearts good. So even though Starr King will no longer be living in that building, our footprint will remain there. Some of the things that are familiar to us will still be there, but it'll be put to a new and important purpose right now amid the housing shortage, especially for students. We had our own dreams early on of trying to develop the property, but we're not real estate developers. And Berkeley is a complex place in which to attempt that work. The people who bought our property are experienced in that way, and so we leave it to them to take care of the building and make it useful and continue to allow it to be beautiful for the next group of people who will be there. We're narrowing in, for our own part, on where we will be on the Mills campus. And this takes a little longer than you might expect. And the reason that it does is that what we need amid this 135-acre site is a place that is a destination. We need a place that when people drive through the main gate, they can know that they're going to see a building or part of a building that is ours. So that requires some juggling of offices and people that the strategic partnerships folks at Mills are at work on this very moment. We're almost there. So it won't be long, I think, before we're able to be more specific about where on the Mills campus we will be. And we're looking forward to that. Some things will be different. For example, we will not be in possession of a classroom like the Fireside Room. We will be like any other part of the Mills campus where our class lists will be submitted to their registrar, who will work with our registrar, and will be assigned classrooms semester by semester. So there won't necessarily be a specific place like the Fireside Room that we always have something. But we do know that one of the places that we're working on as a consistent place is the Mills Chapel. I can foresee times when meeting at Mills Chapel will be the most important thing we do that particular day or week. And I'm thinking about orientation. I'm thinking about all school meetings, certain things that having the community together will make a lot of sense for. Our own chapels, which happen monthly, we will also be trying to figure out ways to do that. And that task is made easier by the fact that the chaplain at Mills College, Dara Olant, is a Starr King graduate and is very much looking forward to having us on campus and to see the synergies that can develop as she works with the multi-faith students that she has. So I'm going to do something awful and touch my eyes because I have dreadful allergies and they are in full effect today. So please excuse me if I sound a little hoarse. Nothing's going on except that I'm allergic to every blooming thing in California. So we'll have more to say as the weeks go on. Of course, things are slower at Mills as well because they are also on lockdown. They sent out a notice to us that only essential personnel of Mills College, people who live in the dormitories and in the graduate student housing, and the president who lives in the president's house, are allowed on campus. Everybody else has to go. So we can't necessarily go and look at things and scout around as much as we already have. But please know that that's stuff that we're doing. Kind of looking around in the chats to see. Oh, yes, someone said we had a question about will we be part of the GTU access to the library? We are still an active participant in the GTU. We are still part of that for the foreseeable future. We are examining all kinds of options, including making sure that we can also use the Mills College Library so that when people come onto intensives, onto campus, that they can have access to that library as well. And in terms of getting back and forth, because I know that that's one of the things that people care about, we are examining the shuttle service. One of the reasons that they're anxious to see our fall schedule and our spring schedule is so that they can try to match that up with the shuttle service that runs, because Berkeley students live on the Mills College campus, and they have a shuttle that runs from the Mills College main gate to Sproul Gate at UC Berkeley, which would be the drop-off point for our folks who want to take classes somewhere on the hill. They are still working out all those schedules, and as I say, things are a little slower than they might be otherwise because everybody's at their house talking on Zoom. So give us a moment and we'll be trying to work that out. You're right, Kim. Thank you for that reminder. Mills has a virtual tour of the campus that you can see when you go online. It actually is quite entertaining. At first, that was one of the first things I looked at as I began thinking about this. And I also want to remind people that there is dormitory housing at Mills College that is available for Starr King students once we set up the procedure around which you can register for it. There are meal plans available. They are comparable in price to staying on the PSR campus before Pacific School of Religion stopped allowing people outside of PSR to stay on campus. That was a big loss several years ago when we were unable to afford housing for our students through the PSR system. They have decided, and I understand it, that they don't want to do real estate and that they need to conserve their resources for their students. So that's been a challenge for all the schools in the GTU once PSR closed their dormitories to everybody except PSR students. But Mills allows us the opportunity for people who can be comfortable in dormitory housing to have room. And that's exciting to us because we hear quite a bit that it's the housing issues in California that have kept many people from pursuing a full-time, high residence course of study at Starr King. Better for them. Thanks for reminding me, Jessica, that the Wilbur rare books that we have in the stacks will be coming with us. We have not yet located a place that is sufficiently protected for them because we don't have the capacity to join with the Mills Rare Book Room. They are at capacity. So we have to have a different kind of space for that. And we are hard at work on how to make that happen as well. So I'm begging for your indulgence and patience in that regard because we still have a lot of work to do and things are slower than they might be otherwise. But our strategic partners at Mills are very excited about our coming. And we have some conversations that continue to occur right now by email about how we would work with the graduate schools of business and the graduate schools of education to make good things happen for all the students, for our students and for Mill students. And we're excited about that. I just want to remind people as well, whether you are a person who's thinking about seminary at this moment, whether you know someone who's been thinking about coming to seminary, and it seemed a little too difficult to manage, I want to encourage you to invite them to our next virtual open house. We've been doing these for about a year now, and it allows people to speak with our admission representatives and to get a feel for what Starr King is like and to get a feel for how the call that a person is feeling might be answered at Starr King. And I think it's especially important now. Not everybody puts their dream of ministry aside at a moment like this. For some people, that call becomes more urgent because the need seems greater at these moments. And so if you know someone like that, or if you are someone like that, I want to encourage you to join us for our next open house. It is next week, the 31st. It's from 5:30 to 6:30 Pacific time. I'm hoping that Jessica or Xander can put a link in the chat box in a second to talk about, so that you can click on it directly and come and speak to Rain Jordan and Maddie Waterman to hear about Starr King, to learn more about our programs, to see how your call and our offerings might match. And if it's not right now, that's all right. You may find that it seems more possible at another time. But it's always good to keep your dreams in sight, even if you can't fulfill them right away. And so if you are feeling that call to ministry, please give us a look and see what we might be able to do to help that particular dream of your heart come true. It won't go away. I can testify that once you have the call, it does not leave you alone until you answer it. And maybe now is not the right time, but maybe it is. So I also want to thank those of you who have been giving to Starr King in this moment. We are very grateful to you. And I want to repeat something I said the other day. If you are a person for whom things are more tenuous, if you've lost your job or you've been laid off and you've had this commitment to us to give, please don't allow your generosity to become a burden for you now. Just drop us a note and let us know that you'd like to suspend your pledge. And we know that once things become more settled and that things turn around, that you'll be able to return to your previous commitments. And we're grateful for what you've already done. But please make sure that you take care of your family and your loved ones. And we completely understand that. Don't allow us to be a burden. And also, for those of you who have the capacity to give, we thank you. We are so grateful for your support. And we also want to encourage you to give a little more right now if you can, so that you can make up for those folks who can't do it right now, but who would if they could. Once again, you can make a change anytime when you go to the donate pages on our website and let us know what you would like to do. We are grateful for your generosity, however it expresses itself. And we count you as a partner in this work, and it matters very much to us. I'm going to check in the chat box to make sure I am not missing questions. Oh, good. We have links there. And yes, the housing that we're looking at is below market rate. It is quite a bit less expensive than the price of a one-bedroom apartment in the Bay Area, which is obscene, actually. It's something like $2,500 a month. And that's really extreme for a student. So the market rate housing, the housing at Mills is below market rate. It's very much in keeping with what students would pay as an undergraduate. It's a little bit higher for graduate students, but really not much. We think that the total range is somewhere between $7,000 and $9,000 a year for 2 semesters. And there's an opportunity to build in a bridge program for the summer months. And when you added that all up, it's still, I think, under $1,000 a month, which is quite a bit different for housing. So as we come to, oh good, we have a link in the chat box. If you're a monthly donor, you can decrease or postpone or increase your gift, and the link is over there. And thank you, Jessica, for making it available to everyone. And I just want to encourage us to settle in for a moment of meditation and prayer. Get comfortable, take a breath, and one more. Gracious Spirit of all life, God of many names and one abundant love, we hold in our hearts at this hour all those who struggle and suffer at the hands of this virus, all those who are caring for loved ones who are ill, all those unable to care for loved ones because the virus separates them, people who are afraid that they will not be able to say goodbye. Please wrap your arms around them, hold them with love and care at this really difficult moment. Please wrap them in love and protection and have them feel that love at this moment. We offer thanks and ask for prayer and protection for all those who serve at the front lines, who are nurses and doctors and lab technicians and respiratory therapists and janitors and nurses, aides, and all the people who work in hospitals working to save lives and to protect others. We ask a blessing on all of the unseen heroes, the grocery clerks and the pharmacists and the folks at CVS and Walgreens restaurants and the checkout folks at Safeway and Trader Joe's and Costco and all the places where human beings act out their fears as well as what is best about them. We pray for the Starr King community. Even though we are all far away from one another, we are united in spirit, united in our capacities to work and to love and to serve. And we all are committed to the thriving of this school, whether it is face-to-face or virtually. We are grateful for all of you who give, whose generosity makes our work possible, and who support and uphold all of us who work here and study here. And we ask for a blessing on all those who are working in laboratories around the world to answer the call for help and for healing. Give them wisdom and insight so that we might one day leave our homes and come out into the sunshine. We pray as well for those who have no home, whose residence is a street, whose safety is constantly compromised. Help us to use this moment to do what we should have been doing, creating a home for every human soul. We ask these things in the name of all that is holy. Amen. Well, I prayed over time. I'm so glad you all were here with me. I will be back tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Take care.